Greetings loyal subscribers and honoured guests. For my second episode of Cyberpunk Month, I'm taking a look at Valhalla Cyberpunk Bartender Action from Venezuelan developer Sukeban Games, which was originally released back in 2016 for Steam and the PS Vita, before being ported over to the PS4 and Switch later on. I am playing the PS4 version, which I happened to receive in a limited run blind box a few years ago, which is something they do every January to move on the excess stock of their older releases at a discount price. This game, along with 2064 read-only memories, was the whole impetus behind my decision to do this Cyberpunk month in the first place. The main designer of the game, Christopher Ortiz, said the direction to make a game about bartending came from a desire to focus on characters who are typically just in the background during your typical cyberpunk stories, bringing them to the forefront and giving them distinct, interesting personalities. The game is set in the oppressive and corrupt Glitch City, where the government have purposefully infected the population with nanomachines to track and control them. Ortiz drew on his personal experience of living in a third world country to create a cast of characters who try to keep their morale up and be supportive of each other despite their depressing surroundings. Other influences on the game include the classic yet obscure to Western audiences PC 1998 title X-Girl Cyberpunk Adventure, to more widely known influences such as Blade Runner, Ghost in the Shell, and the works of Hideo Kojima such as Snatcher and Policenauts. Even the game's subtitle, Cyberpunk Bartender Action, is a nod to that of Metal Gear Solid, tactical espionage action. Despite all of these influences, the game still does feel uniquely its own. This is chiefly because of the decision to make the entire game revolve around the bartending profession. Although the game is extremely text-heavy to the point where some have described the game as a visual novel, you never actually make any dialogue choices throughout the game. Instead, you are making drinks for the customers as they tell you of their problems. Sometimes they make it clear exactly what they want, other times they leave things up to your interpretation and just say they would like a sweet drink or a strong drink. Luckily you have a digital recipe book on hand at all times that allows you to search the drinks alphabetically or within several other categories. There is no time limit while making a drink and you can start over if you make a mistake, so there's not a lot of pressure on the player. Experimenting with the drinks you give people and getting different characters drunk will have an impact on which ending you see, of which there are 7 different possibilities. You also have to manage your financial situation and your well-being as the days go by. You can buy Jill certain things to cheer her up and decorate her flat, but you also have to make sure you can cover your bills, or as I discovered at the end of the game, you may find yourself being evicted. Buying Jill the things she wants helps her stay focused at work, which in gameplay terms manifests in the prompts you get at the bottom of the screen, reminding you which drink people have ordered. If Jill loses focus, sometimes her mind will wander, and the prompts won't tell you the drink you need to make, so you'll have to rely on your memory instead. In hindsight, this would probably have been fairly easy to deal with, and if I had skipped over 1 or 2 items or tunes from the jukebox, Jill wouldn't have found herself homeless at the end of the game. I had no idea when I decided to play 2064 read-only memories followed by Valhalla that the 2 games are connected. At some stage during development, the 2 teams working on the games got wind of each other's projects and realised they shared quite a few similarities, and so decided to set both games within the same universe, sharing certain aspects of the world including the Augmented Eye who report on issues affecting the residents of Glitch City. Should you give the right characters a certain drink, you can even unlock hidden scenes starring various characters from 2064, and it is a treat for fans to see them again redrawn in the Valhalla art style. That's not to say the new characters can't compete with them, as Sukeban Games have successfully managed to come up with a genuinely likeable and believable protagonist in the shape of Jill, as well as all the different individuals that drift in and out of her life daily. Favourites of mine include Dorothy, a refreshingly honest sex worker android, or Lilim as they are called in Glitch City, and Dana Zane, who did pop up as a very minor background character in 2064, but is now a major character and Jill's boss. You can tell that both of these characters generally care for Jill from both their actions and their words. The presentation of Valhalla is generally top notch, although there is no voice acting at all, so you will find yourself having to do a lot of reading. The game does feature a ton of excellent vaporwave music composed by Michael Kelly, also known as Garode, which sets the tone while you play. There is enough music to fill 3 separate CD soundtracks, and it is all uniformly brilliant. You can choose which tracks get played on the jukebox at the start of your shift and after your lunch break on each in-game day. The pixel art during the game is also really well done and was a huge part of the appeal of the game for me, though it may not be to everyone's taste if you're not a fan of the anime style, waifus, cat girls and the like. I'm honestly not a huge fan of those things myself, to be honest, but the game was interesting enough for me to look past this and enjoy it. Limited Run Games released both the Standard Edition and a lavish Collector's Edition for Valhalla, just like they did with 2064, and the second-hand price of both of these is starting to get up there now. There are still copies out there though if you're prepared to pay for them. If not, then the game is still readily available to buy digitally on every format, and will only cost you about 12 quid. For that price you get about 8 to 10 hours of gameplay for one playthrough, with the option to play multiple times to see the various endings. If you have the patience for slower paced games and the futuristic setting appeals to you, then I would recommend trying out Valhalla, especially if you have already played and enjoyed 2064 read-only memories. One other thing the game shares in common with 2064 is that a sequel was supposed to be released a few years ago, yet the developers have fallen silent on the subject recently. Hopefully we will see the release of Nirvana Cyberpunk Bartender Action soon. Next time I will be playing the beautiful side-scrolling action RPG Anno Mutationum. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then please consider leaving a like, dropping a comment, subscribing to the channel or sharing on social media. See you in the Matrix, and in the meantime, take care.